Yo, what's up, sneakerheads? Welcome back to the channel. I am Nature Boy Chuck. This is Nature Reviews, and on today's episode, we have a special unboxing of this beautiful joint here. Look at this box. It's gonna be Rukus and New Balance Numeric Mallard Bird 480. Let's go ahead and open the box and take a look at them because they are absolutely gorgeous. This shoe has caught so much hype since it was first pictured to the hype that drove it up another notch at ComplexCon. And I have been anticipating this sneaker for seems like forever now. And I finally got in hands and I can't wait to go over the details with you guys today of this amazing Mallard Bird 480 by New Balance and Rukus. Guys, this shoe is absolutely impressive. You know, when watching my reviews, I'm an absolute sucker for a story, details of a sneaker, and an amazing unbox where you get the full dialogue of what i.e. the designer or the brand or is trying to get across to the people who want to purchase a shoe in particular. And Rukus and New Balance smashed it out of the park with this particular model right here. Now, it's gonna be a ton to unpack when you look at a shoe like this, so we're gonna break this video down in a couple of sections. Number one, before we get to the juicy details, we're gonna talk about the release method of this shoe, how to get your hands on it during a pop-up, and what to expect and when it's gonna drop online. Next is gonna be the juicy details, not only about the portion with the Mallard Bird and why it's called the particular name for its shoe, but the 480 in general also, and how it correlates with a lot to embody with this particular model. And last, guys, we're gonna get to the on foot. You guys know how I talk about design, feel, and comfort, and we're gonna see if the 480 in this particular model of the Numeric actually stacks up and how it feels on your feet. Let's go ahead and get to the video. We're gonna start with the release of this beautiful joint right here. As far as the release, I can honestly tell you, I have no way of really gauging the hype or how to predict how this release is gonna go. You have two things that are gonna be working against you and not in your favor. The colorway of this shoe is phenomenal. It has a lot of deep roots within Rukus in the Louisiana area, and them having this brand partnership to drop this shoe with New Balance is huge. So there's definitely going to be a lot of fans and skaters in the area for a store that has had so much to do within that community. It's going to be after this particular model. Number two, the Numeric New Balance version of this 480 is awesome. A lot of skaters love it, and it became a version of not just skating, but a casual wear sneaker also. So the comfort, which we'll talk about later, but otherwise the fuel cell that's full link in the bottom of this is definitely hyped, and it's something that a lot of people do enjoy wearing on this particular model. So those are the two things that's gonna work against you when trying to cop this particular model itself. Now, as far as the date, December the 6th, keep that in mind. I'm gonna say it again, December the 6th, Rukus is gonna release this online, 1 p.m. Central Time. If you aren't following their Instagram, you need to follow their Instagram. Rukus is real simple. Rukus Lafayette, where you can follow them on both pages so you'll get an update on what's going on. And they just listed too where they're gonna have the pop-up. They're gonna have a pop-up Saturday, December the 6th. Also, it's gonna be at 11 a.m. Central Time, and the pop-up location is already on their Instagram page. So I adhere you to go ahead and get on that page, find out where that location is in Baton Rouge, so you'll be ready when this pop-up happens on the Mallard Bird. All right, guys, let's talk about the good part, and that is the details on this beautiful shoe. The Mallard Duck, of course, is a staple within the Louisiana culture. In Louisiana, the hunting ground is called the hunting paradise. If you grew up around that area, you have most likely duck hunted. If you didn't duck hunt and you grew up within the ages of the Nintendo, you probably played the video game Duck Hunt. So you have two connections, whether you're in the boot or you played it on the video game. A lot of it directs itself right back to this. Now, on this particular colorway is one thing we want to note and get out the way. The Mallard Bird, of course, you have the male and the female. This is going to be the colorway based off the male. The female is going to have totally different colors. So we want to separate the two so we deal exactly with what we're actually talking about. On the bottom of the sole, this is going to be in relation to the duck's feet. So you're gonna have the orange color there. You have the blue on the bottom with the MB sign in Numeric with fuel cell, which we'll talk about fuel cell on foot once we get to that portion on it too. But that blue is gonna be the back tail feathers below the rear of the duck. So that's where the blue comes in. This white that wraps around the midsole is in translation to almost like a collar around the neck of the duck. So it's not really a white, but it's kind of like an off-white color. And I'm glad that correlation is done on this shoe. It looks good having almost like that cream midsole being on it. Now it gets real dope once you start and get into the textures of the shoe on this particular model. Right here in the toe box, of course, you can't miss it. You're going to see that beautiful yellow colorway that's going to be in a leather. What's unique about that is you have so many different textures of material on this particular shoe. It's a coincidence, or it was done on purpose, that the beak is yellow. So that's why they have it in a, I wouldn't say harder, but a more of a solid texture being on there. And it's kind of crackled within there too. So it has a good functionality and just feels good. I wouldn't say it's like some ultra premium leather, but it is definitely a good leather being on there. You're going to have the brown, which represents the feather, and it is buttery smooth. Man, that suede on that brown is absolutely perfect. Another thing that's cool about that, the feathers are soft on the Mallard Duck. So you're going to have the feathers on here being soft with the brown in correlation too. Rukus, New Balance, you're doing something with this. We're gonna jump right up to the green. As you see on the green, that's gonna be working its way up towards the neck to the head of the Mallard Duck. And right there on the back, you're gonna have those color combinations, the feet, the ribbon around the neck, and you're gonna have the rougher portion of this ruffle suede on this green here too, which works across his head. Once again, you have the hard texture, beak, you have the soft texture in the feathers, and you still have a soft but yes rougher texture going along the top portion of the head of the duck. Now, what is cool on the Mallard bird, if you've never really seen one, all the way across the full portion of its head, it's gonna have almost like a iridescent color being on there too. And what's cool about that, as the duck moves, gets wet or dry, it starts to mirror two different tones of color, which may be a green or a blue. And that's what you're gonna see with the New Balance sign being on there too. So it's gonna be almost like an iridescent color being on there also. Guys, that is how you nail a representation of a shoe. And New Balance did it, but they did not stop there. The extra laces actually correlate with everything too. They kept the same theme going all the way through it, and we haven't even got to the box or what came inside of this special box also. But let's take a look at the laces. You are going to have orange being on there. You are going to have blue. Of course, you already have white or almost like a cream colored lace that's inside of it that comes standard also. And you're gonna have almost like a speckled colorway. Now, this is unique because whether it's most females have this on the rear portion of the duck, the feathers are mixed in with a white and a brown, and also with most male Mallard ducks, they're gonna have that mixed in feathery color. So that's cool that they actually added that lace swap being on there too. Of course, on the front tongue, you're gonna have the Numeric New Balance sign there with Rukus being on there. Identifying, of course, the brand within Rukus. On the inside, you're gonna keep the theme with the camo that's gonna be on this also. Now, it's a particular name for this, but I can't remember right offhand right now, but the difference in between the 480 and the 480 Numeric are different in a couple of ways. Now, I don't have a regular 480 to show you guys, but look at the texture that you see on here. This is what you call a closed cell foam insole. Look how thin it is from the inside. And this is what you're gonna get. So you're gonna see the extra padding being right there on that heel portion that flows through the insole, mid portion of the feet here too. and you have the indentions, of course, for the toes. Now, this is the new thing with Numeric. But what's great about it, you'll have most people say, well, I like the thicker insoles, but what you get on the 480s versus the 480 Numeric is going to be totally different also. Now, the soles of the shoe, you remember, of course, we talked about this blue portion. Let me flip it around for you too, right where it has, right there, it's going to be fuel cell. Now, fuel cell is going to be that cushioning that runs inside of the shoe. Now, what's unique about the Numeric and why people love it, you have, of course, the new insole and the padding itself, but you have that fuel cell that runs full length. I know in a lot of the sneakers themselves, New Balance is known for this fuel cell, but you have Nike, which has Zoom X that runs full flow all the way through the bottom portion of the shoe. And I want to say Adidas has Light Strike. Now, it's not on that same level, but it does offer a better density, a better quality of feel on the insole of the shoe. So that's going to be your main difference rather than some of the air bubbles or the open cells that you'll find on the insole of the regular 480, which with the Numeric, it kind of sets it apart. So not only are you going to get a quality shoe within what you have displayed here, you're going to need a lot of upgrades with the 480 Numeric itself, along with on the inside. I don't know if you guys be able to see it, but you see this pull here. So this is not in the regular 480s. You're going to have this on here. Now, most skaters will probably tell you that, you know, having it on the inside of your shoe is a little bit more annoying or a little bit more bulky on the mid portion of the feet, but it's neither here or there. Most of the casual wear feels good having it on there. And some skaters do actually like it. So I'm not a skater myself. I just look at the reviews and the comments of most shoes like this to kind of get a comparison to bring back to you guys. The box. Now this may be, or is, I should say, going to be the special box version of this. So you're going to have the camo all the way around it, and you're going to have, of course, the duck imprints being on there too, and camo. Right here on the opposite side, you're going to see your details as far as your Mallard Duck. The sides, of course, are going to be a size 10, which is going to be mine. And I can't wait to put them on feet. So you guys are going to see how they feel and how they look on feet. And you know how critical I can be about on feet. So I can't wait to talk about that. But the extras, the goodies, look at this. This is going to be, of course, the bag that comes with it. A lot of times you can have some netting to put your ducks inside of it. So I like the fact that they actually added the net to be with it. But first trinket you're gonna get is gonna be your mini binoculars being there by Rukus. So if it flies, it dies. And it has the target signs being on there too. This is absolutely dope. I like the way they did that. And look at the back portion of that too. But there is more. Of course, we're gonna have stickers. Stickers are always cool. These are going straight on the MacBook Pro, by the way. Gonna have Rukus there in camo. That is a necessity. If it flies, it dies. It's gonna be on there also. And it's just even more important. You are going to have the duck call, the duck whistle. I mean, not too bad. It's a little rusty. I was doing it early for my wife and she just absolutely laughed at me. But you're gonna have the duck call in the inside. Of course, we're gonna have almost like the stamp you would see at your local post office. So this is gonna be in correlation like you see the colors and everything that we spoke about earlier. Migratory, I can't never pronounce that word right when other than migration, but migratory. Bird being there too. So that is absolutely dope. So we're gonna have a keychain that came in it too. I'm gonna pull this out the wrapper because I thought this was dope. Just the extra details and stuff like this make unboxing and you paying the money for a sneaker super important. But here we go. Let me see if I can get the camera to actually focus on that. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. The mallard bird being that there. And on the back, let me see if I can get the back portion for you. There we go. We're gonna have Rukus being on there too. So I like when brands do this with sneakers. It makes it more of a story, an understanding of why you bought it. And for anybody here on the Gulf Coast, within the area of Louisiana that live in Louisiana, you know, right there in Baton Rouge, I mean, it just means everything. That's why I think the shoe is going to be do extremely well. And I just don't know how this release is gonna go, guys. But like I said, get down there to the pop-up and get ready online. Now, this is the last tidbit before I get to on foot, guys. I know you're eager for it, but let's look at the migration tag there. They have everything on the tag. It's gonna have name, model number, address, city, state, all this stuff that you will have when you're hunting and how many you killed, your signature being on there. This is awesome. And the fact that they actually thought to put this on there and have this made, it just shows how great of a job Rukus actually done with adding that to it in particular. This shoe is gonna be in my collection and talked about for a very long time. All right, I've had on this particular model right now for about, I would say 10 minutes. And my feet are a clear indicator in most cases when I already know something's not gonna work. But these feel great. Now, before I get deeper into comfort, just look at the color of it. Look at the iridescent coloring of the end on the New Balance, of course. That is beautiful. Great touch on this shoe. The yellow really pops out big time. I like the way they did it with the orange sole being on it too. This shoe is just an absolute classic, and it might go down in the books as probably one of the best looking New Balance 480s that we're gonna have for a long time. I don't know who's gonna come out that's gonna actually top how good this sneaker looks, but as of right now, this one here is king. Back to the comfort, I can tell a difference straight off, and I don't know if many people compare them, but from what I read online, people compare the SB Dunk feels to the feel of these, and I will tell you this, they actually feel a lot better than the Nike SBs. The problem that you have around the toe box feeling like it may be a little bit too narrow, around the back heel, I don't know. My feet just sink down into these in a perfect way. The insoles feel good on the inside. So, you know, I don't have no problem moving around in this particular shoe. So I'm going to grade the comfort on this particular 480 Numeric New Balance as going to be a 8 out of 10. And 8 being a very, very high number for a shoe that doesn't come with the thicker soles like you see on most of the Nikes these days. So in ranks to a Nike SB, I feel like the comfort is a lot better. That is probably going to surprise most people, but I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. These feel great, and I can see myself walking around in these for a long time. So as far as on foot, let me know what you guys think of the look of it. It's going to be hard to tell the comfort until you get it, but when you do, come back to this review and let me know what you think about the comfort of this particular shoe in the Numeric, which has turned me into a huge fan. That is it for On Foot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let's get back to the end of the video. My final thoughts on this shoe, I think we are starting to call the sneaker of the year way too early within months. This shoe here is releasing December the 6th, and it is in quality, in comparison, in story tales, whatever you want to say, this shoe by far exceeds a ton of measures that are usually dapped into this category. Now, it is not a Nike, it is not an Adidas, but it is time for New Balance to start to get a lot of recognition. This 480 Numeric with Rukus, Mallard Bird is one of the best sneakers I have reviewed in detail and put on my feet this year. And that speaks a lot because I talk very highly about the Nike Premium model, or should I say Nike Premium Plus. However you want to say it, that model is phenomenal when it comes to absolute comfort. But for as a shoe that just depicts everything that makes me happy when I look at it, that tells an amazing story that connects with me and my Southern roots here in the South, man, you can't look no farther than you're looking at the Mallard Bird. This model is phenomenal. Once again, we have the smooth brown of the feathers. We have the orange of the duck being on the bottom. We have the hardness of the leather being here crackled slightly in representation of the beak. Of course, along the midsole, you're going to have this almost off-white or vanilla type texture, which is almost like the collar or ribbon portion around the duck's neck. You have the blue, which you see there on the tongue and on the bottom portion of the shoe, showing the extra layers underneath the bottom of the duck, and the green, which runs up to the top portion of the head above the neck, showing the duck of the mallard duck, I should say, along with the color on the end of New Balance, which is almost like iridescent on the end. As you turn it, you get different colors, just like the top of the head of the duck. It doesn't get any better than that. They even nailed it coming down to the portion of having the migration tag being on it itself. All the trinkets that you would use with the bird call, with the different lace sets. I love my lace swaps, by the way. And also the binoculars that you're gonna have too when you're out there duck hunting. Rukus couldn't have done a better job in collaboration with New Balance. I love this model. On foot, it has been a pleasure. To hold in hand, it's been a pleasure. This is by far one of the top 5 sneakers of the year for me, and I look forward to putting my list together. But guys, don't miss out on this particular model. I'm telling you, it is worth it. Whether you're going to be standing online or you're going to be looking to cop the sneaker offline, this shoe is going to be absolutely worth it. I'm Nature Boy Chuck. This is going to be my review on the New Balance Rukus Mallard Bird 480, and I'm happy to say I am a new fan of the NUMRIC 480s. I'll see you guys on the next review, but until then, peace.